Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Speed Street Podcast. We appreciate all of you fine folks for listening to this show, honestly, for listening to it, for watching it, for consuming it, especially over the last few years. If you're new to the show, we appreciate you. If you've been here since day one, we really appreciate you. We're heading into the off-season, and there's also going to be an off-season for this show. Just letting everyone know, we've got probably 4 or 5 episodes before we may be, and we may space those episodes out, but there will be an off season for this show because it's going to be, less and less going on. But yeah, we have a lot to think about. We have a lot to be thankful for when it comes to folks listening all throughout the years and through this year as well. So we appreciate you fine folks, but thankfully there's still a lot of news that is happening. And to introduce myself once again, my name is Connor Daly, and I drove. Currently, I am unemployed once again, but I drove in the NTT IndyCar Series this year for the number 76 Juncos Hollinger Racing Chevrolet. A lot of incredible partners that we had, but obviously now once we're in the off season, we don't know what's going on as usual. I've been in this position many times before. And many other drivers have been in this position many times before. But yeah, we're trying to make things so where I can continue to be a NTT IndyCar Series racing driver. And gosh, it was really fun this year to compete at a high level. So anyway, we have big news to talk about. Chase, there's a schedule that has been announced. Thank God that the series timed it for the release of our show and the recording of our show. We have a schedule to talk about. We also have, before we get to the schedule, we have an interview with the champion. We obviously haven't talked to him a lot this year because he won every race, and we wanted to try to diversify our portfolio. We wanted to get some more drivers that had more stories to tell because Alex Palou started winning all the races. So thankfully, Alex Palou joins us, and honestly, probably our best interview with him, I would say. I think this is our best interview with him that we've had as a part of this show. Some really cool moments where he gets into some things that, were some tough moments for him during the year, some great moments, and some thoughts on what he thinks Colton Herta is going to do over the seas. And I really like that. So I think you all will appreciate that as well because it's just honesty. It's what we think. It's what the champ thinks about some of the rumors about him during the year and some of the thoughts on, Colton Herta's very difficult journey in front of him that we talked about last week, aiming for Formula One. So really, really like that interview. And Chase, you can kind of pregame before we get into the schedule. Great interview with Alex Palou coming up. Don't you think?
Yeah, no, I'm excited to always get to talk to a champion like Alex Palou, a man that did some very hard things to do. We say on the show all the time, racing is hard. He made it look easy this year, but it was cool to kind of get some of his vulnerability, out. Like he talked a little bit about some of the races where he felt like he could have done things better. That was a big one for me. And then of course he's just a great personality. I feel like more and more people are starting to kind of come around to Alex. Brought a lot of NASCAR fans to some of the races this year, and they were like, I've heard about Alex Palou, I know him. And then he would like ride by like on a go-kart and he would say something, and then they were like, man, he's like really personable. He's really cool. I'm like, yes, like this is what we're trying to tell you all. This guy is awesome. So always good to get to sit and talk with him. And then, yeah, we've got big news, Connor. I think that the best thing that we could do for everybody and for us too, because I know I'm ready. I'm itching to get into it. Yeah. The 2026 IndyCar schedule is officially here. What are your first initial thoughts on what we are seeing?
Well, I think there was a lot that came out over the last week and a half. There's a lot of talk about Mexico. And real quick, this episode as well, we are going to get into our power rankings postseason, which is actually going to be a lot of fun. So please stay tuned for power rankings before we get to the Alex Palou interview. But the schedule, no Mexico, I would say, is the biggest part, which is a shame. Now, there was a lot of articles, oddly enough, that kind of floated around that this race in Mexico has been actually talked about for a long time. And I do remember that. There was an article from like 2016, which was my rookie year in IndyCar, which seems like a it is almost a decade ago now. It will be a decade ago.
I didn't know that either. That's what was crazy to me about it. I was like, man, it's really been this long that we've been waiting for this. Like,
there has been a lot of interest in trying to get us, to Mexico, and even, my rookie year. Well, my very first 500, 2013. Michel Jourdain Jr. was also trying to make the Indy 500 that year. He didn't make the race that year, but great guy. Obviously a driver from Mexico who's got a lot of history. And there's always been some just fantastic race fans, from that part of the world. And I think an IndyCar race in Mexico would be awesome. And everyone, I think so many people agree to that. But with the World Cup, there's a lot of things that have to be thought about from a business perspective. If we go down there, the event has to make money, and the event also has to be willing to pay the series, an appropriate amount of money for us to get down there as teams to where the teams aren't losing money. And it is a business. Now, I think the dates and the way things work out and the way our philosophy on scheduling things right now, try not to go up against the NFL. It seems like the beginning of the season is obviously packed with dates, but the one thing that I have to say about it is I believe that there is a real effort to making this event happen in Mexico, and I do believe we will see it on the calendar. I do believe we will see it, and it's a shame that it's not this year because I would like to be a part of it, and I obviously need to get a job first, but I would like to be a part of that race in any shape or form because I think it's great for our series. It would be awesome for, Pato's fan base, for Pato in general. I mean, Pato's our biggest star, and I've actually I've become better friends with Pato, I think, this year, especially after our race in St. Louis. I think there was a great mutual respect there, but Pato's an awesome dude, and I think he's just a good human, but also a great racing driver and a great representative for such an incredibly strong fan base. So
absolutely.
I just think that needs to happen. And I'm sad that it's not happening. But we have a lot of other things, Chase, to look forward to, of course. I don't know if you noticed, but remember how everyone was complaining very aggressively about how we had too much space between races in March and at the beginning of the year?
Not anymore.
Guess what? That was fixed. So I don't want to hear anyone. I don't want to see more angry tweets about or angry messages that I get about, like, why would IndyCar not listen to us? So let me give you two things where IndyCar immediately listened to the fans. Let's just right out the gate. Night racing. Boom. Fox, IndyCar, we sorted it out in the middle of the year. Night racing at St. Louis. Done. Awesome. Great event. Fantastic. One of the best races of the year. Okay. IndyCar listening to the fans. Boom. We got a schedule where there's a bunch of events at the beginning of the year to get things going.
Yep.
Sounds like a great idea.
That's perfect. That's exactly what we needed. And the thing is, for me, is like where I do understand that a lot of people are bummed out over Mexico. You got to look at some of the things that we're doing right. This is one of those things, making sure that we are stacking the front of a race schedule. You want to have that consistency right out the gate, especially when we're trying to develop a new audience. Now, I'm going to say something that may play devil's advocate a little bit about this Mexico race. I've spent a lot of time thinking about it. I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing. And I do think that right now what this can do is that this kind of refocuses IndyCar, refocuses the organization on continuing to really build up this fan base in the United States. I think that that's something that is very important because the larger those numbers grow, it's going to be way easier to go international. It's going to be so much easier to move into Mexico. It's going to be so much easier. I know there's people talking about Australia still. People still talk about Australia.
We'd love to go racing there, yeah.
If we can build up these numbers in America here on the home turf, that's just going to make it that much easier for us to slide into those international spaces. So I think that they're doing the right thing. We're focusing on what we can control, and that's what matters at the end of the day. But this is a huge spark. And inside of that first four race, we have St. Petersburg, Phoenix, a paired race with NASCAR, which is going to be huge. We talk a lot about getting some more of those NASCAR fans over here. We've had a ton of people. I know a ton of people personally that are NASCAR fans that have become IndyCar fans this year. That is something that's great to look forward to. Then we go to the streets of Arlington. I know a lot of people are excited about that one. That's going to be a big marquee event. And then on March 29th, Barber, the masters, if you will, of tracks for it's like it was one of the highest rated road courses early on in the season this year. I think it was right under 1 million. But I think that this gives us that spark and that strength to like try to get over that 1 million per race hump, because when you have that large space after St. Pete, that fall off is real. Now we actually have a chance to get those numbers started strong, get people's attention, and continue to grow the series.
Yeah, I agree. And you know, to go through the dates quickly, it's obviously March 1st, St. Pete, as you mentioned. And then we've got like 4 in a row almost. I mean, there's one weekend, I believe, in between Arlington and Barber, but what a great run to get things going. I mean, and even an oval before Indy too. Imagine all of the off-season marketing that we do. And they did a great job last year. Fox did, you know, Super Bowl commercials, all this stuff. And we can get St. Pete, which again was a little bit of a boring race last year, but can be very exciting. And then you go right into an oval for IndyCars. I mean, short oval IndyCar racing right now is at its best. If anything, some of the best that we've ever had.
Yeah.
I obviously hope to be there participating. I got to race there my rookie year, and in 2017, my first 2 years of IndyCar. A ton of downforce on the cars, but such a fun track, and what a great area as well. Like a lot of race fans out there. We've seen such strong NASCAR races there. I just think it's great. Now, I believe a doubleheader was. I don't actually believe, like, we'll get to the doubleheader at Milwaukee eventually, but I think there was hopes to have Mexico in that first, 4 or 5 races. Obviously, that would have been ideal, I think. But IndyCar made it work, and we've got 4 right at the beginning. Now, there is a bit of a time gap between Barber and Long Beach, and a bit of a time gap, from Long Beach to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course, which I'm sure people will complain about. But
it reserves space for crown jewels, though. Like you have
testing.
April.
Yeah, there's testing that we got to do in those times. I'm sure that like the Indy Open test, you got to imagine that's probably going to be April 24-ish, somewhere around there.
I don't think anyone's mad about May either.
Exactly. Yeah,
I wouldn't think so.
May looks good. So it's, let's just go through the rest of the schedule real quick. Chase, what do you think? So Streets of Long Beach, April 19th. May 9th is Indy Road Course. May 24, of course. Hello, Indy 500. May 31st, Streets of Detroit. June 7th, Worldwide Technology Raceway. Amazing. Under the Lights once again. They're going to do a night race. June 21st, Road America. July 5th, Mid-Ohio. Now, what they did also mention, Chase, I don't know if you mentioned this, Nashville Under the Lights. Nashville will be a night race. July 19th, because Nashville in the middle of July is going to be inhumanely hot, I assume. Mm-hmm. So it looks like they have decided, guess what? We're going Nashville racing at night. The FIFA World Cup 26 final will provide a massive opportunity for our sport leading into the Nashville Superspeedway race. So we get the World Cup final leading into the IndyCar race. Let me tell you what, folks, that is big. That is, if anything, one of the biggest lead-ins we've ever had as a sport. So
an oval race at that.
And a night oval race. Sign me up. We're going to lock those people in, millions of people in, hopefully to an incredible IndyCar race. That's great news. I think that is just something that is, we got to focus on. This is sweet. So, yeah, let
August
me see.
9th,
IndyCar
Portland.
I'm just reading through some of the oval details because we got all this. Prime time oval races follows FIFA World Cup 26 final. That is so cool. We're going to be racing at night, prime time at Nashville. That's going to be sick. Obviously, after Nashville, you got Portland. Then you've got the Streets of Markham, of course, which is a new street race in Ontario, which will be cool. And the Milwaukee doubleheader, I believe that wasn't actually going to be a doubleheader, but because Mexico didn't show up on the schedule, that had to be a doubleheader, I believe, because, we obviously want to get to 17 races. And then the finale in Laguna Seca in September. We get to September finally, September 6th. I'm not really a fan of the finale in Laguna Seca. I like it as a track. I just don't think it has the same vibe as like an oval does for the finale. You know what I mean? I thought Nashville's finale was super cool. But it is what it is.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a crown jewel track. I would say Laguna Seca, the corkscrew. It's got a lot of roots tied with IndyCar. It's become one of my favorite road course races of the year. So, and it's not like it was that long ago that we didn't have it as this race. So it's not something completely unfamiliar. And I think that the best part about this is that we still have Nashville on the schedule to find out that that's the race that is going to be the premiere after the World Cup. Whew, and it's under the lights. It's like, that's like the best trade-off you could ever ask for. And that makes, in my mind, in my heart, that makes that okay. I'm like, you know what? That's fine. Corkscrew to finish out the season. It's going to definitely give the edge to a better racer of road, I would say. But it's, the main thing to look at here, I think, is that they're already making big strides. It just may not seem that way, the way it's packaged. It's not going to please everybody, but these are huge strides from IndyCar, from Fox. And I think that the biggest takeaways for me, like I had said before, stacking your first month and then having, I would say, August to September stacked as well. So you're stacking the beginning and the end of the season. You have a little bit of space there in the middle, but it's nothing that people are too unfamiliar with. You're giving Long Beach its own month, which I think is, in a way, it's one of those crown jewel races of IndyCar. Everyone knows Long Beach, and there's a lot of other racing that's going on during that time. And that's just one of those races I would highly encourage everyone to get out and go experience in real time, because it's a fantastic event. So having the whole month of May reserved and then roll into Detroit, I feel like we're doing the best that we can with what we have right now, and honestly, a little bit more. So I like it.
I think there's a few misses that, I wish, I wish we had, and I think a lot of people wish we had.
What are those?
Well, I mean, name any mile-and-a-half oval. I think we're all still dying for mile-and-a-half oval, something like that.
Of course.
And there's been more talk, I feel like, that about recently. I feel like a lot of people used to talk about mile-and-a-halves as like maybe a mysterious, maybe someday. And now it's like, okay, I start hearing things about why not Homestead? Why not, Chicagoland? Why not Kansas? I think those questions need to be continued to ask in a more serious fashion. And I truly believe that there is, I know Mark Miles is not a fan of it, which is fine. Like, Mark has obviously, he's got his own thoughts on what, what works and what doesn't. But I hope I'm going to make this prediction. I hope in the next 5 years, we will be back on a mile-and-a-half oval somewhere in the next 5 years.
I don't
know where, but I think in the next 5 years, and I hope it's sooner, because I would like to participate on these types of events. But I hope in the next 5 years that we at least get one, if not two, mile-and-a-half ovals, and we're not afraid to go to 18 races, maybe 19, maybe even 20.
Maybe 20.
Maybe 20.
I think 20 should be, 20 should be like at least like the max.
20 is the number.
Floor. Yeah. So, but I think we all kind of know, like, from what I've gathered, there's, I kind of understand the whole argument around going to the mile-and-a-half because of the history of things that have happened. And I understand that. But as time goes on, as safety improves, the new cars coming around in 2028, it definitely feels like it is time to come back. With Phoenix being introduced now, it shows that, if we can really capitalize on this event, if we can really show our value, if we can really pull people here, that's going to open some doors to potentially getting into some of these tracks that are owned by SMI. And
I actually believe NASCAR is open to having us at more weekends.
Oh, they are.
I completely believe that, and I actually think that I know that, because if they weren't, they wouldn't have allowed Phoenix to happen. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I think it's for motorsport fans, for fans that are willing to accept the fact that, I had one fan say that, if he has to go to Phoenix, he definitely won't be watching any NASCAR stuff. I was like, that's actually okay, because you could go to Phoenix and you could just watch the IndyCar race and you could leave if you want.
You could.
But if you want to hang out, there's going to be more racing to watch. And again, it is a different style, but I actually enjoy watching NASCAR, stock car vehicles race at Phoenix. I think it's a fun product to watch sometimes. So
it's a good track. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think
they're coming up with all kinds of new ways to make races entertaining. I don't know if you caught that Bristol race on Saturday night.
Yeah. But
that was a wild one.
You know, again, you can still go to support IndyCar and you can still, you know, if anything, probably get more for your ticket because you're going to maybe, you know, I assume there's going to be multiple races in a day, right? Like we're going to race and then I assume there's going to be an Xfinity race or something or a truck race on the same day. Something's going to happen. So,
absolutely.
You know, and hey, what if you see one of your IndyCar drivers get a shot at doing the double that day? Who knows? Maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
There you go. We need more of those opportunities, and this is going to create those opportunities. So anytime that we can get crossover, man, like that'll be
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just think something like that Phoenix weekend is a big step forward for just motorsport fans. I hope people will give it a chance. So yeah, schedule, I would say good. I wouldn't give it a amazing, but I would say good because Arlington is sweet. I think we got to remember that. That's going to be awesome. Phoenix is going to be awesome. We essentially have multiple new events, which will spice things up. You'll have multiple newer tracks for us to go to. You know, obviously Phoenix we've been to before, Markham, Arlington, and so you're like, hey, this seems cool. Like we got some new exciting jazz to look forward to. So
that's it.
I'm ready for it. I would like to be a part of it. Hopefully we can get there. But other than that, there's really not a ton of news, Chase. That was the big news that dropped today. Obviously, we record on Tuesday. The driver silly season market, that is still a brewing. I believe we're going to see an announcement this week for a driver which is sort of predictable, but I think you're going to see a driver that's not me be announced this week, which will then, you know, continue to put some puzzle pieces in place. And then after that, you know, there's still a lot up in the air. There's a lot up in the air. I think for me, I now no longer know what to think exactly about where I could be in the future. You know, we have some partners, some sponsors, and once again, we seem to be a little bit short. So we're going to keep continuing to work on our side to get people together. I think once again, we got to find, you know, I hope that I could continue to work with the JHR group because that's always been my goal. But this business is ruthless. And I think there's a lot going on that I don't know about behind the scenes that I'm just going to keep my head down and keep focused on, you know, making sure our partners are pumped and we just have to go from there. But let me tell you, this part of the year, and I've told you this before on this show, folks, it is awful. It is the worst time of year. Every day something's different. Some weirdly worded tweet starts to cause some chaotic situation. I even had some company like falsely represent me trying to do some appearance the other day. They like basically signed me up for an appearance and they said that they represented me and they definitely do not. I was like, nothing's real nowadays. I got some group that's that's taking money for me to make an appearance and I don't even know who they are. So it's wild. We got everything's fake essentially on the internet until you see it until it's handed to me written on a stone. I don't believe it. And that's definitely nothing on Facebook's real. So don't watch out for that.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Facebook's bad.
That's still the wild, wild west. You got to watch out for those Facebook AI websites. We've got
false agent advertising going on for drivers now. Like, dude, IndyCar is getting wild on the internet. I will be completely honest. Like, I thought the NASCAR market was wild, dude. Like, the IndyCar has really took this wild turn going into this season. So, I mean, it's definitely stirring stuff up, but I think some people have to learn where to stop.
I think the next couple of weeks are going to be big. I think this week, by the end of this week, I think you're going to see a driver announced somewhere. I will not say, obviously. I wish if this announcement comes out the day of our show, I'm going to be so mad.
Probably, but that's usually how it goes down.
That's usually how it goes.
Marshall Pruitt said that Renus was definitely not going to Foyt. So that was
an interesting one. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Again, who believed that? Well, some tweets. Like people threw out tweets that was happening, and suddenly it was real. Until you see it happen. Let me tell you, I don't know.
I think after the Nate Brown rumor with Red Bull and Alex Palou, it really threw this whole thing into a loop, because it's like that guy is a very credible source for IndyCar.
Yeah, I agree. And he still is. That was, he obviously has to. He's a reporter, dude. If someone that he has faith in or that has told him real things before, or is like a notable person in the community says something, like you can't not take that seriously. So I mean, that's a tough one for him, and it's a tough one for journalism. Like, what now? Who do you believe? I don't know. I still say, hey, look, verified. If it's a verified media member, let's try to go with maybe reading those stories before we go to something that's written on Facebook. I promise you. So that's going to be interesting. But I think the next 2 weeks, the owners' meetings are going on this week in Indianapolis. So all the owners, IndyCar owners, are here. I think you're going to see, obviously, the future of Prema. Everyone asks, is Prema going to be still around? Who knows? You guys would not believe how many folks are out there trying to buy into IndyCar teams. Like, there's a lot of people who are interested in trying to own charters, trying to buy their way in. There's a lot of people interested in getting into this sport. Will it actually happen? I don't know. But there's a lot of communication, and I think that's good. Good for the sport.
It's also good that Robert came out. I don't know if you saw earlier in the week, but Robert Schwartzman came out with a very long statement that he put out on Instagram, basically just kind of
condemning some of the rumors that were said about him.
Down. Yeah, shutting him down and saying, no, I want to be here. I enjoy this. I mean, he's put a lot into it, and I've gotten a couple of chances to talk with him, personally about it, and he just seems like he's really hyped up about what he's doing over here. I know he had a good time at Waka Flocka at the championship. So, I mean, there's a lot that he can be excited about. So, yeah, this whole Prema story thing, man, is really, I feel like people, and it's like what we talk about all the time, people are just trying to grab and latch onto almost any little thing they can.
Oh, yeah.
Just take a
viral tweet.
Yeah, take a deep breath and relax. But I also think it's great that the drivers, are coming out and are just getting right in front of this on your own. You're like, I'm not going to wait for the media to say something. I'm going to say something, because that is the world that we live in now today. So it's so important, and it does a lot of good when you can see drivers kind of come out speaking for themselves like that.
Indeed. All right, well, let's get to. I think it'd be fun to get to our power rankings. Our power ranking segment. I think there's a couple awards that we want to hand out as well. Some two very minor awards, but are maybe fun. Maybe things that we can pay respect to some tracks and some drivers too. But what's going to happen to try to keep this, somewhat quick? But if you listen to the beginning of the season, Chase and I basically went through and we power ranked our drive. A lot of sports podcasts and people are like, we're going to power rank all 32 NFL quarterbacks. And I mean, and people love that stuff. Like these are purely our opinions. Like at the beginning of the season, this isn't who we thought was going to win the championship. This is who we thought was going to be,
a force.
A force ranked 1 to 27, maybe both emotionally, because their team is great or bad, et cetera. It's just basically how you feel you can rank everyone. And so now my power rankings postseason do not follow the championship at all. This is not the championship order. This is how I felt some people did and how I felt some drivers did, be based on their team performances, based on maybe the lack of resources that the team has or more resources that they've got. We're also going to hand out a Justin's biggest mover to who moved up most in the power rankings.
They won't get to keep the trophy, or they will?
They do not get to keep the trophy. The trophy does not exist. So that is a false trophy. And then we will give the Yikes Award to who fell the most in the power rankings. Who fell the most from high ranking to low ranking. I think you guys might know who that is already, but we'll see. So anyway, Chase, I'm going to read you my top 10. This is, again, not the top 10 in the championship, but we're going to give you power rankings from the beginning of the year and then top 10 of where we're at now. So my top 10 to start out the year: Joseph Newgarden, Alex Palou, Scott McLaughlin, Colton Herta, Will Power, Pato O'Ward, Scott Dixon, Kyle Kirkwood, Christian Lundgaard, and Felix Rosenqvist. So that was kind of like, oh yeah, those are strong names. We're going to sort those out. So here's my top 10 power rankings to finish the 2025 season. So I had to move Palou to number 1. Easy. Palou number 1, Pato, Kirkwood, Lundgaard, Armstrong, Dixon, Felix Rosenqvist, Rinus VeeKay, Will Power, and Colton Herta. So a lot of different names have shuffled around there. A couple highlights for me. Obviously, Kirkwood did not finish third in the championship, but Kirkwood was the first person to defeat Alex Palou. So we got to put him in there. Kirkwood, I think, had a great year. Lundgaard, fourth power ranked, because Lundgaard was a podium king. He was on the podium a lot. He was very consistent. He did better on the ovals than normal. And then Armstrong is almost one of my biggest movers. Armstrong, in my opinion, Armstrong was 11th for me. Actually, no, Armstrong was 12th for me last year in the power rankings. And I thought he was very consistent. I literally saw that he was way better on ovals this year. He got a podium on an oval. Wild. So Armstrong, I think even next year could bounce back even more. But who sticks out to you in that top 10, Chase, that's like a big mover or something that's surprising?
I guess I would say out of that top 10, there isn't much that is really surprising for me at all. I would have probably expected to see Scott Dixon a little bit higher at the beginning of the year, but
he's Scott. So the reason I do that, Scott Dixon's got he's got so many championships. So if he's not winning the championship again, there were a couple moments where Scott Dixon was like, "Oh no, like what happened?" But he's still a winner. The guy still wins a race. But I thought, the way I did this is the young, exciting talent who maybe doesn't have as many years as Scott Dixon. Who do I think like really performed in some moments where we might not have seen as much? Scott Dixon, we know top to bottom, and we know he's good all day, every day. So that's the only reason why I move it down a little bit.
Yeah, and we're gonna stick. I'm gonna stick with your power rankings, like as of now, moving forward, because I feel like you've been on track with these guys. You've watched this week in and week out, so I'm gonna stick to your expertise here. But I do want to go mention through my 1 through 10 because I was off on a few. So obviously, I had Alex Palou at the top. That never changes. Joseph Newgarden second. I think that anybody in their right mind would have put Joseph Newgarden up front, which is why you did, same way that I did. Then I had Pato coming in third, so I kind of took the commercial boys, as you would say. That was the big commercial boys at the beginning of the year, so you want to think that they're going to step up since they're getting all the spotlight. After that, I had Scott Dixon. Scott McLaughlin in fifth was one that was obviously not as strong, but again, a Penske driver, a Penske team, you want to think that all those guys are going to be in the top 10, just an off year there. Had Colton Herta sixth, Will Power seventh, Kirkwood in eighth, Felix Rosenqvist ninth, and then I had Marcus Ericsson in 10th, and that was probably my biggest flub from the beginning of the season.
Yeah, it's an interesting one to see what we thought before. And another standout, obviously, I ranked Rinus 8th in the power rankings because he drove for Dale Coyne Racing. Rinus did not finish 8th in the championship. Rinus was, I believe, 14th or something in the championship. So This is much higher than where he was in the championship, but he did a great job. Didn't make mistakes. He always was in the hunt if he could be. Sometimes their car struggled. Dale Coyne Racing, low resources, low resource group. But Rinus, I thought, made a case for himself, and he's coming after my seat big time, which is fine. Like everyone is, but I was hoping he would have more of a shot at like the Penske ride or something. It made sense for him to maybe go to Foyt, but. I don't know where he goes, but he definitely deserves to be in a good car because he's a great driver.
He gets a big bump. He gets an extra bump for what he did with Dale Coyne. I'll say that.
Exactly. He gets moved up the power rankings because of what he did with Dale Coyne. I had him 19th going into the year because I didn't know how good Dale Coyne Racing could be. You know what I mean?
I had him 21st.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that. So Rinus, big mover.
Yeah.
I don't know if he gets the Jostens biggest mover, but we'll tabulate at the end.
It's a close one. He's definitely in the running.
He's in the running for the Jostens biggest mover mystical trophy. All right, let's get into the next 10. So we'll go 11 to 20. So last year, real quick, 11 to 20 for me, Marcus Ericsson, Marcus Armstrong, Santino Ferrucci, Alex Rossi, me, David Malukas, Graham Rahal, Callum Ilott, Rinus VeeKay, Christian Rasmussen. So big shift in the top 20 for me. So I'm going to go P11, Christian Rasmussen. And now this is hard for me to admit. We're still in disagreement, but the guy's a winner. So he's right outside the top 10 for me. Christian Rasmussen. P12, I have Joseph Newgarden. So big fall off for where we started with Joseph Newgarden. Kevin Simpson, David Malukas, Scott McLaughlin, myself, Santino Ferrucci, Callum Ilott, Alex Rossi, and Louis Foster. So a couple standouts there. Both the Penske guys not in the top 10. We had Joseph and Scotty Mack. And I ranked Kevin Simpson above Scott McLaughlin. Now, the only reason I did that is because of and again, pains me to say it sometimes, but Kiff Dog, I mean, biggest improvement from year to year. Did not make big mistakes. Showed up on ovals as well. And, that's not where he finished in the championship. Obviously, he finished just in front of us in the championship, 17. But there was just something about that was like, I gotta give this guy his flowers. Gotta give him credit. I even put him above David Malukas because David Malukas has been around a little bit, and we expect it out of David Malukas. So these
right.
power rankings take all those things into my thought process. David Malukas is expected to win every race. He's expected to go to Penske. So, David Malukas did not win a race. David Malukas was, he was almost on pole. He had a lot of great moments, but a couple things that, maybe you're like, oh, he started at front and maybe finished a little bit further back. Whereas Kiffin, you were always like, dang, how did Kiff Dog end up there?
Where'd this guy come from?
And again, worked with his team, worked really well there. So Kiffin is almost the big mover. Last year I had Kiffin at P24. And I had him at P13. So he's almost fighting Rinus VeeKay. I think Kiff Dog is the Justin's biggest mover. I think so.
Okay.
But myself, I put Santino 17th. We got to talk about that. Santino had a fantastic start to the year. Very fast. But there were a lot of accidents and some things that happened towards the later half of the year that you're like, whoa, what happened? And so that was the only reason why, he moved down a little bit. And he's obviously going to be back with Foyt next year. We know that. And he's going to be, with that relationship again. And another difficult one for me was Callum Ilott, because I think Callum Ilott had a great finish to the season, a lot of top 10s in a row. But overall, when you look at, where are those standout moments, there weren't a ton of standout moments other than like, oh, shoot, hey, Callum's in the top 10 again. We expect that out of Callum. And obviously it's a new team. So it gets tough when you're down here at P17, 18. And I think a lot of people are going to be a little bit questionable on this one. Alex Rossi, I had 19th. He got beat by his teammate in the championship. Alex, a good friend of mine, obviously. But Alex and we made contact more this year than we've ever made contact in my career. There was a couple moments where, again, towards the end of the year, a couple great results. But, through the middle half or through the middle of the season, the Indy 500, poor guy caught on fire. Alex definitely wants to have a bounce-back season next year. It's got to be a bounce-back season. His teammate wins. He did not. So that was a tough one for me.
Yeah, it's got to be.
He doesn't listen to my show, but maybe he'll hear it. But it's like that was a tough one for Alex, I think, this year. And I know that he's going to be like, all right, we got to lock in for next year.
We're going to clip it and we're going to tag him so he can't ignore it. That's what we're going to do.
That's definitely not what we're going to do.
But I'll say this. I don't have any disagreement with you really at all because of the way that things shook out. I think that your case for Kiffin Simpson is very strong because he was the guy that surprised the hell out of us pretty much every race. I mean, in Nashville, like, my God, dude almost was on the podium.
Yeah.
So I really like what you have there. And then for Callum Ilott, I completely forgot about Callum Ilott in the beginning of the season when we were doing our power.
Yeah, you didn't even rank him.
Big step up for Callum, on my end. But going through mine, I had 10th at the beginning of the season. I had Marcus Ericsson 10th, Christian Lundgaard 11th. That was way off. Santino Ferrucci 12th, yourself 13th, David Malukas in 14th, Marcus Armstrong 15th. Alexander Rossi 16th, so not far off from where you've got him now. Kiffin Simpson in 17th, Graham Rahal 18th, Christian Rasmussen 19th, and Nolan Siegel 20th. I think the Nolan Siegel one was a big oof for me on that end. A couple of those guys in that ranking definitely can be reordered. And then with you, what you said with Santino Ferrucci too, I think we all kind of saw that there were glimpses in the beginning of the season where things looked like they were going right for him. We always know that we can expect to see him like right up there with you with the ovals. But yeah, it just seems like there was a lot of life sucked away from that 14 team, and maybe a little bit more of that was pushed into that 4 team. But yeah, it's just one of those years, I guess you got to kind of lock in and see how, you got 6 months now to figure out how you're going to bounce back. So with you putting our guy Kiffin over Scotty Mack, though, I would love to see what Scotty Mack has to say about that one. That's the only thing that I will say.
It's a vibes pick. You know what I mean? It was a big vibes. We expect Scotty Mack to win every race. Kiffin, we didn't expect to be on the podium. We didn't expect to be, finishing P4 on the, at the National Super Speedway. So,
but if them Penske teams wouldn't have had the strong runs that they started to kind of put together in those last 2 races, I think we would have definitely seen them a little bit lower. Those last final races for Penske really kind of saved them. I feel like from the recent power rankings that you're giving out now.
Yeah, so obviously Foster capped off the top 20 there only because he got a pole position. Race-wise, I mean, Louis Foster seemed to fade in almost every single race. And again, rookie of the year, so top 20, and he is above his teammate Graham Rahal. Getting right into the finishing order for the power rankings. I'm not going to let you know. We're going to try to get through this a little bit faster, but I had Graham P21, Marcus Ericsson P22, Robert Schwartzman 23, Stingray Robb 24, Nolan Siegel 25, Jacob Abel 26, and Devlin DeFrancesco 27th. I would say the biggest movers for sure in reverse. Marcus Ericsson.
Yeah.
And this does not mean he forgot how to drive. Marcus Ericsson, still winner, Indy 500 champ. But the year that group had was really difficult. And, if you were to give a bounce back player of the year, like kind of they do in the NFL, that could be Marcus next year. Marcus could figure it all out next year, get a little bit more in tune with the group, and they could have a great year. Like, Marcus is a proven winner, Indy 500 champion, almost multi-time Indy 500 champion. The other one that's surprising, though, is Graham Rahal. Like, Graham Rahal, a tough year overall for Graham. A couple shining moments, but overall, just nothing that was like, hey, bang, this is our, these are our wins, whatever it is. But that team, again, is going to be on the bounce back. The Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan team overall just seems like in the races, there was some fading. Portland, they had a great race, great strategy call. Obviously, they were on the same strategy as me before I ended up in the medical center. But just kind of wild to see Graham and Marcus that far back. Robert Schwartzman, I only put, again, very silent other than the Indy 500 pole. And again, you could put him higher because of the Indy 500 pole position. I think that was obviously a huge moment for him and an incredible moment and honestly awesome. But the rest of the year really just kind of there. And he, Callum obviously outperformed him as well, which again, Robert's a rookie, so that's that happens. And Stingray, I've obviously got Nolan Siegel. I think he's that far down because again, his teammates finished 2nd and 5th in the championship, and Nolan had an accident last lap of the Indy 500, just struggled and. I don't know what McLaren is going to... I think a lot of us understand the business side of this sport and what goes on there and how that happens. Nolan is a great kid, like a great dude. I got to sit next to him at a lot of the autograph sessions. But I have a feeling that Tony Kanaan and that group over there are going to be like, hey, we got to get this third car from McLaren, up in the top 10 of the championship. And, he's got the equipment far over anyone else in this bottom half of the championship rankings, of the power rankings. And the only reason I rated Jacob Abel above Devlin is because Devlin has way more starts and still no top 10s. He's one of the only, I believe the only driver in the 114-year history. I don't know if this is real or not. Again, this is a tweet that I saw. No top 10s yet for Devlin with a driver that as well has more than 50 starts. And Jacob Abel, honestly, did not really get in anyone's way in a big way. He had a good strategy result at Iowa, and was not a nuisance on track at all in any way. And he's got way less experience than Devlin. So the only reason I ranked Devlin last and Jacob above is because Devlin has far more races than Jacob does, and I feel like Jacob did a decent job. Devlin was maybe close to having a couple good results, but someone's got to be last. So That was it. Those are my power
have no
rankings.
Disagreements at all. And I would
those
say
are my
Jacob
power
Abel Jacob Abel probably gets some bonus points for bringing Miller Lite back to IndyCar.
That as well. Yeah, bonus points in the power rankings for bringing Miller Lite back.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I've got. The Justin's biggest mover, if we're doing math, is definitely Kiffin Simpson. Shout out to him for the Justin's biggest mover. The Yikes award is definitely Marcus Ericsson. So hoping that he has a big bounce back. Marcus Ericsson actually probably the same as I do math, the same drop back that Joseph Newgarden is tied with Marcus Ericsson for the biggest drop.
Are you literally doing like algebra right now?
I'm doing math, right? I got a little piece of paper and I'm doing math. Ericsson went from P11 to P22 and Joseph went from P1 to P12. So 11 spots both. So they tied for the Yikes award. There you go. What do you think?
Oof. I have no disagreements there. I think the Speed Street current power rankings versus where we were preseason definitely add up.
Big changes throughout the year.
Big. Very big
changes.
But as far as biggest mover and Yikes, I have no disagreements there whatsoever.
Real quick, I want to hand out some awards that I think tracks and drivers deserve. I don't know if I would like to give an award for the best gift bag given by a track / an event. Sometimes we show up to events and they give the drivers like a, hey, thanks for being a part of the event. Like St. Louis, I think, started it out, and they would give us like these beautiful bottles of wine with all the drivers' names etched on them that were competing in the event this year. I was like, dang, this is awesome. And Hy-Vee, they gave us, I still wear the AirPods that Hy-Vee gave us in this gift bag from the Iowa race. Promoters and sponsors of the event that like truly cared about the drivers. This year, it was a tough battle between the Laguna Seca race, the WeatherTech Raceway race in Laguna Seca, and St. Louis. But once again, St. Louis takes the crown. Worldwide Technology Race, where they gave us a giant box of steaks, cold meats, some chips, a big bunch of tins of nuts. Incredible feeling.
The stuff people like.
Oh, consumables. Yeah, and
consumables.
Shout out Worldwide Technology Raceway yet again, just giving away some incredible things to make us as drivers feel great. And yeah, we got to love that. And then I would like to hear from you on this, Chase, but I would like to give an award for best merch, best driver merch this year, whether it's a personal merch, like whether it's, hey, I sell this at my own trailer. Who would you think? Who would you give your best merch to? There's a couple good competitors. I would say Alex Palou had great merch, especially championship merch. I would say the candidates for these are David Malukas, Alex Palou, the ECR team. ECR team did a really good job with merch, and they got great hats, really good solid hats. You got to have good hats for people to wear. What do you think?
So if we're going from a personal standpoint of whose merch I thought looked the cleanest and the best this year, obviously I'm a big hat guy.
Yes.
Penske delivered some of the most simplistic, beautiful hats. Just white, the color of a driver's main paint scheme with their number right there on it. Team Penske on the back. When I saw those caps, I was like, this is sick. It's not too much going on. It's very to the point, and I'm a big fan of just like that aesthetic. So really liked what Penske did with their cap game. I think in terms of broad, who did the best with merch, it has to go to Ed Carpenter Racing. I saw so many people wearing those Splenda Java House jerseys this year. So obviously the fans really like that as well. And then for merch that I personally just thought was awesome that I still don't have, the OpenAI Alex Palou collaboration. I wish we could get some merch. Obviously everybody knows I'm kind of a geek for AI. So I really wish OpenAI would put something together with Alex to get that out there for the fans, because it was some of the cleanest, simplistic looking merch that was out there. So I like that. There you go.
I personally, the winner of the best merch for me, I really like David Malukas' stuff. At the beginning of the year, he tried to put out like a personal collection. I thought it was really cool. There were some great shirts there. But overall, from the team side, ECR dominated. Great hats. A lot of people wearing the shirts, great colors, all that stuff. And it pains me to say that too, but great merch. They came in and dominated. So I respect that. But just wanted to hand out a couple quick shout outs to those folks. So that's our power ranking segment. Let's get to a tremendous interview with the champion. We can get his thoughts on everything that he did this year and how he is literally the number one. He deserves all the power ranks. So here is Alex Palou. Well, folks, we honestly, we've been avoiding this guy for a long time because all he does is win. But it wouldn't be right to not talk to the 2025 NTT IndyCar Series champion, someone who won so many races, someone who is truly probably the current GOAT right now, the greatest of all racing drivers right now. Well, maybe that's a debate, but he's certainly our greatest right now, Alex Palou. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you,
and
guys.
What a year, what a season. You're about to go to the banquet tonight. There's a lot going on, lots of celebration of your life. You've done a lot of incredible things this year. We appreciate you being on this show. And how does it feel? How does it feel to finish off this season and to be the best right now?
Thank you for the introduction. That was a good introduction to the show. But honestly, I'm doing amazing. I cannot complain. It's been an amazing couple of years, but this year especially has been just incredible, and the feeling of just pure joy after almost every race weekend, and combining that, the 500 and the championship the same year. And I don't know, I'm just in a place that everything seems to be so good for me. So yeah, I'm just enjoying.
I love that. I think there's so many fun things to talk about, because we could easily be like, well, tell us how you won all the races. But there were so many things that popped off this year, like Red Bull rumors and things that are just crazy to talk about. And I'm going to get into those things with you. But to grind down the dominance first, what was it this year? Because honestly, there were a couple moments that I was like, man, that's just Alex Palou. Like, just, hey, you blew a tire at Nashville and you made it through and you still finished on the podium. Like, there's a lot of those moments where you're like, okay, this is wild. Alex Palou just nailed everything and the team nailed everything. But what were some of the moments before you clinched the championship where you were like, hey, these are our highlights. These are what made our season the best season?
There's a lot of moments. I mean, there's been so many moments that this season, like, I just felt it was the first season ever that we showed up to every single race weekend and we would be like super fast since the beginning. Normally we've been really good and we've been able to go really good, especially on Sundays. But this was a year where we showed up on Fridays on practice, and I knew that the car was amazing, that the car had a lot of speed. I think that this year it helped me a lot to qualify up front. You know, when you qualify up front, you can take the best tire strategy. Your strategy, normally it's the safest and easiest. And that's something that I've never had before. So that made our races a lot better to start, a lot easier, without having to take crazy risks, and stuff like that. But I would say there's been moments where, we probably didn't have the best chances to win the race. Like, I don't know, Thermal, for example, it just, we were good, but we didn't win until the last stint. We were not in the lead until the last stint. So there's been a lot of moments like that, a lot of races like that, that I felt that we really won on track at the end. And it's not like we've been dominating. It was just like we had a good car, maybe a top 3, but then suddenly we were able, with the team that we have, with the strategies, the pit stops, and then on track to just win it. So yeah, it would be hard now to pinpoint moments, because there's been so many that I could be here all day talking about it.
Well, the funny thing is you didn't mention the Indy 500, which I thought was the biggest one. I thought that's what you were going to go with. So that's how good your year was.
Yeah.
When I said what were the greatest moments, you were like, well, the Indy 500. I mean, that's how good your year was, which is wild. I think that's cool.
It is. It's wild. It's wild that the Indy 500. I mean, it was a tough month. Like, at the beginning, like we had a lot of speed, but not overly a lot of speed. Like we're good on traffic, but we're not the best. But yeah, then at the end of the stint, the team put me in that position. Like they put me there. Like they just said, okay, Alex, now you go. And I was lucky enough to win it with the traffic cars and so on. But we're lucky enough to make it happen. So yeah, I mean, as I said, it's been such a cool year that it's not easy to choose one moment. But because then, honestly, one of my best days this year was Milwaukee. It was the first time that I was on pole at a short oval. Well, Iowa as well, but I think it's different, Iowa. Like the car does a lot more in Iowa. But Milwaukee, like you're hustling
Explain
the car
that to people,
more.
though. I love hearing that, but explain what that means to people, because I think I know what that means, but I want to hear from the champion what that means for people.
So there's racetracks where Iowa, for example, let's take Iowa, the amount of downforce we have, the amount of grip to do a qualifying lap, and with the amount of banking, it's flat. Like you go flat. That doesn't mean that it's easy. Like you're hassling the car, you have understeer, you have oversteer. Like you're working with the car, but it's flat out. So if you're able to keep it flat, then it's about the speed of the car or your setup. Like it could be that I'm a little bit more over downforce than you. That's why you go faster. But we're both flat. While then Milwaukee, it's never flat, and it's about like how much do I bleed off the throttle without knowing how much grip do you have. Because bear in mind that we do a warm-up lap and then we go flat out. We go like as fast as possible, but we don't know where the limit is because we've only done 45 minutes of practice with traffic. So it's the first time that we have nobody up front, new tires, and it's those 2 laps. So Milwaukee, it's one of those that I feel like it was more of a driving and pushing the car and going to the limit without knowing where the limit was. And it was my first time being on pole at the racetrack like that. So that felt for me like, wow, I did that pole, and the car obviously was amazing. It was the best car, but still I had to drive it. I could have just, I don't know, bled off the throttle a little bit more and that would have been P4 and that's it. Getting the pole there, and then on race day, being able to go through traffic, which you're used to that, but I'm not used to that. I'm used to hearing on my radio. I'm used to hearing on my radio, like outside, and then, okay, clear. And it's somebody there. It's passing me on the outside. But this was the first time that I was able to pass people, and that felt amazing. So just to get something that I didn't expect from this year or from myself was probably one of the best things.
Well, now we're all terrified because you figured all that stuff out, and goodness gracious. But I'm going to let Chase jump in here now.
Yeah, you talk about Milwaukee. You're going to have more than one chance to do that now going into next year. I don't know if you've the new 2026 IndyCar schedule just dropped. Don't know if you got a chance to review everything. And I wanted to know. Okay, so what is maybe your new or your favorite change to the schedule? Maybe a new track, maybe a new finale. What is Alex Palou's favorite?
I like the finale. I know there's a lot of people that doesn't like it, but I really like being there. You don't like it? No, I like it.
You want ovals, man. Yeah, we know you're gonna like it,
but that's fine. I do like Laguna as a track, though. Great track.
Okay, yes. So I like that. And then I like the fact that we don't have Iowa. I don't think that it was a great show for us. And then we didn't really get a lot of people there. But I love the fact that we're going to do the doubleheader in Milwaukee instead. I thought that the people that we had this year there was a lot more than I expected. Even like on Friday, we have more people than in Iowa all weekend. So I'm excited about that. True. I'm excited about Phoenix. I've never been, but I've seen it on TV, and that looks like it can be a really fun track for us. I don't know how it's going to be, like with different lanes or not, but it looks like a fun place, hopefully.
We'll make a new lane. We're going to make lanes.
Yes. So that's hopefully that's good. And then I'm very, very, very excited about Arlington. I think that's going to be the place, hopefully.
I love to hear that. I wanted to ask you quickly too. So it's going to be a double header with NASCAR, I guess. I guess you could call that a double header. They're speculating a Saturday race for IndyCar. Sunday will be the NASCAR Cup Series. And I wanted to know, are you friendly with any NASCAR drivers? Do you know any NASCAR drivers?
I'm not, I would say with Chastain, just because he was part of CGR and then I kept a good relationship with him. But I wouldn't say that I'm very, very close with anybody. But
all right, room for growth.
I love that we can do that, and hopefully we can do it. I think we did it once in about 2-3 years ago. I didn't
at Indy. Yep.
I felt like we were too separated. I didn't like that. I hope that this year we can do something more together, where both series do more stuff together instead of going different ways. Because I think it's great for the fans. Like if I'm an IndyCar fan or a NASCAR fan, I would love to see the other thing. Like, why not?
Yeah.
I want to discover if I can like NASCAR more than IndyCar, let's do it. Like it's not that I'm like, oh no, it's only about IndyCar, forget about anything else. No, I like good shows. I like good race cars and good races. So if you give the opportunity to the fans to watch IndyCar and then discover NASCAR and then the opposite, I think it's going to be a great show.
I don't know if this is possible, but Jenna Fryer actually put this out. The fun fact about she put this on Twitter. The IMS doubleheaders, when we did that, NASCAR drivers could go into our paddock like it was the credentials, everything was cool, but no one from our side could go into the NASCAR paddock. So like Jimmy Johnson wasn't even allowed to go into the NASCAR paddock without the right credential. I think if we get a little bit of more cohesion there, and now again, that's fighting the good fight between the the sanctioning bodies, but I think that would be cool to get some. Yeah. Hey, first of all, if we have an IndyCar driver pass, like, hey, we're going into the NASCAR paddock, we're going into the pit lane, let's check it out. Or even the fans, I don't know if you can. Maybe the higher up credentials for both series, maybe they can go into both. I think that would be really cool. I think that would be a good,
I agree.
Just a motorsport fan event. Let's not measure each other's egos and say, hey, we're NASCAR, we can't cross over to anyone else. If you got race cars there and we're all together, I think that's a great thing for the sport. I really love that. I think that's cool. Would you agree?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I felt in May or at Indy when we did it, that it was like kind of like very separate and we're like going against each other. And it's like, no, it's the opposite. Like we're doing this together. And I would love to see the cars. I want to touch the cars. I want to see the cars. Like I'm interested. And if they allow me to drive one of them as well, like let's do it.
There you go. The double, the Alex Palou double that day.
Let's do it. I want to see it, man.
I'm calling for that. I think that would be sweet. You know what we also need, Alex? We need you in a NASCAR truck on the St. Petersburg weekend.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. You do that.
He's already said no. I've already seen it.
No.
He was very strict about that.
No, I'm not doing that.
Well, I would.
Not in St. Pete. I would do it. Like I would do it if it was St. Pete the week before or the week after. Okay. But not the same weekend, man. No.
Fair. You know what?
All right.
That sets the standard. Whatever the champion says, that means that we got to follow that. That's respectable.
There it is.
Well, no, I actually would push somebody from IndyCar to do it, and I would be cheering for him. But it's not going to be me doing it.
Fair. I think Scotty Mack could be a good one. I think that would be a cool one to watch for spectators for us. That's my volunteer. I think we volunteer him to do that.
I volunteer Scott McLaughlin as well.
Yeah.
Dude, Scott.
Perfect. Real quick to wrap up your year, because I know that there's a lot of other things going on and I want to get to the rumors that we saw too. What was your most difficult day this year? What was your most difficult moment where you were like, man, everything sucked today? Or this was a brutal, emotional, mental, everything day? What was the toughest day?
Mid-Ohio.
That was it, huh?
Yeah, man, that was a tough day. Like that Sunday and Monday after, I was mentally, I was destroyed. I was, when you look at the result, it's like, oh, come on. Like, yeah, there's only one person that is happier than you, but it's not true. It's not true. I think there was 26 other drivers happier than me because
I was very upset that day too. Yeah.
Okay, maybe only 25.
You were just upset on a podium, Alex.
Yeah.
But difference, you know?
It was not the fact about the result, but the mistake and what it meant and like how hard it is to win a race and to throw it that way and to do a mistake when you don't have to. Like those kind of things, they you punish yourself a lot more than maybe you should. And looking back now, I'm like, oh, come on, like, it's okay. Like, you still finished second. We still kept the win at the team, which I think that made it easier for me as well mentally. But mentally, that was the toughest moment, man. Yeah, it was the toughest P2 I've ever got. Even tougher than finishing P2 to Elio in 21 at the 500.
Wow.
Yeah. It was not the fact of the result. It was the fact that I did not do my best, and that felt tough.
There's that personal slip up that you had right there in that turn. That's what hit it?
Yeah, because that was all me. That was not something that, I had to push because otherwise we were not going to get the win, or or the car was like super hard to drive. No, it was just all me.
That's really interesting. But that's the level that we're at right now. I think when you analyze, we as drivers, we analyze every weekend, and when you know that, hey, it's on us, because there are a lot of moments that, as you mentioned, strategy or something happened, or there was a small thing here and there. But yeah, when all the eyes see it, it's very obvious. Trust me, we've all felt that. I felt that too. There's a couple moments where you're like, dang, you know what? That's tough. That's on me. So that was cool to hear. Even worse than finishing second at the Indy 500 to Elio. I would put that on a clip. Like, that was wild.
For sure. Sure. Yeah. Just because at the 500, I felt like I did my best, or I did everything I knew, and Elio was just better. So yeah, good job to you. But, I did not do my best. I just did one of those rookie mistakes that it's like, come on, man, like, what are you doing? But yeah, it happens. That made me stronger. That made me be like, oh, come on, like, just get your stuff, like, ready.
Get yourself sorted out. Yeah.
Yeah, like, not all the stuff, but I mean, like, you better stay focused. So yeah, it's all good.
There you go. Okay, well, now we have two very important questions that I want to get to, I think. I loved the fact that there were the Alex Palou to Red Bull. And I remember looking at you at the gym because we've seen so many things, even the fake schedule that floated out this year. Guess what? It's very different than the schedule that actually came out. We saw a lot. There's so much internet power that people are just given because everyone falls for it. They're like, oh, well, that must be true because it's the first thing that I saw. The Alex Palou to Red Bull thing, I loved it. That was the type of rumor that I was all about. I was like,
you almost started crying when I
send him over there. You send him over there.
Crying?
Yeah, he was like so close to starting crying when I said, Connor, there's nothing there. And he was like,
oh no.
He was like, come on, Alex.
We got to get this guy over there. But when you see that and when you hear that, I mean, obviously you can, publicly, you obviously have to say no, but like, there must have been a little bit of something in your mind that would have been like, I mean, it's kind of cool. Like, what do you think?
Oh yeah, I think it's cool. Like, I think that it's always cool, and there was nothing bad about it. It was not saying that, oh, Alex is doing something. No, it was just the rumor was just a team interested on you. So I was like, yeah, but it's a great team. It's one of the best teams in motorsport history, so that's not, it doesn't hurt, but it was not true. There was nothing there. Honestly, when I saw it, I was like, oh, come on, once again, here we go. Like, I know what I have people, right? Like, I have Roger.
People, yeah.
So Roger manages everything, and I know everything that he does, but you never know. You're like, okay, Roger, what's going on? No, there's no conversations, no anything, and you're like, okay, that's good, because I would have liked to know that there's something happening.
You should have run it by me, dog. Like, what happened?
Especially if the media already knows, right? So, I mean, the only thing I didn't like was the timing of it. Like, it was right when I won the championship in Portland. It was like the week after, and instead of everybody talking about our season and the championship, it was all about the rumors that were not right. And then they said that it was me creating the rumors, when it's like, why would I create rumors from like nothing, right? Like, I have no interest, especially me. So it was all right. Like, it got more people to watch IndyCar and to see what we did this year. So I think it was good stuff, but there was, I'm sorry to say that there was nothing there.
That's all right. But there is something with one of our competitors, Colton Herta.
Yeah.
I want to get your thoughts. A lot of us commented, a lot of the drivers, and I spoke about it last week on my show because I think a lot of us have a lot of respect for Colton because he's a good racer. He's very fast. And I think you've probably seen, obviously, you're the best probably in our sport. Well, you are the best in our sport right now. There's no probably. But I think we can all see that Colton's got some raw ability that is very impressive. What do you think he's about to encounter when he goes to Formula 2? Because I've raced in Formula 2. Did you race in F2
2 races,
as well?
yeah.
2 races, yeah.
Yeah.
So you were over there as well, and you obviously had that dream of going to Formula 1 as well, and maybe still do, who knows, but obviously you're the champion of IndyCar right now. What do you think he's going to experience? And do you believe that he's got the ability to be at the Formula 1 level?
Yeah, so first of all, I love what he's doing. I love it. I love it because he doesn't care about what anybody thinks.
Yes.
And it's like, F you all, I'm just gonna try. And it's a huge gamble. It's something that nobody would probably do, or very few people would do at the position that he's at. He's one of the leaders of IndyCar. He's one of the best in IndyCar. He's at one of the best teams, and he knows he can win races and maybe championships. But he said, you know what? I know maybe I have an opportunity in F1. He knows that he can come back next year or at the end of next year or in 2 years, and he'll have the best seat here, and he's still gonna be really good in IndyCar. But I think the fact that he's taking that gamble, and he's 25 or 24, whatever,
something like
going to F2 after being in IndyCar for 6 years, it's a big step. It's not gonna be easy.
He's 25.
Even though,
25. I just Googled it.
25. Okay, 25. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy because he's been driving this IndyCar that it's a big car, a lot of weight, power, but the tires are different, the tracks are different, the way you race is very different. He's not going to have to worry about 3 pit stops or anything like that, or fuel saving. He's only going to have to worry about those Pirellis and 1 pit stop, or the sprint races, they do no pit stop. So I think he's going to struggle because it's a different type of racing, but I think everybody in IndyCar would struggle. And I have full faith that he's going to do amazing. I don't know what team he's driving yet for. I think that's very important. And I think everybody should know that makes a very big difference in Europe and especially in F2. But I know, for what I know, he only needs 4 points or 3 points?
Yes.
So he doesn't need to dominate. It doesn't, I think people might see that if he doesn't go there and dominates, it's going to be a failure. I don't agree with that. I think these young drivers that been racing in Europe for the past 10 years and doing everything with Pirelli and F3, F2, they are going to have an advantage in some areas, and he's going to have advantage in some others. So I know he's going to do all right. I'll be cheering for him, and hopefully he gets a seat in F1 soon. I'm cheering for him. I have full support, and he has all my blessings.
It's very interesting. I mean, it's one of those things that I think for people that for us, we race against him every weekend, right? And it's going to be really hard to imagine IndyCar without Colton Herta, because I feel like sometimes it's just hey, that it's a crazy mental picture, right?
Yeah.
But I'm going to be his biggest cheerleader. I think a lot of us want to see him do well, and again, we don't see this very often. This is something, if anything, that's so rare. That's just, I think it's awesome.
I think it's a great story. It's a great story that what he's trying to achieve, how hard we all know that it is. And that's why we push for it. And especially knowing that it's a little bit unfair that he could get a chance if we had more points in our system.
Yes.
And that's what it makes us be even more.
I hate that, first of all.
I hate that.
That's... But even you see Lando Norris's comments, I think everyone agrees that the point system is definitely messed up.
I mean, whenever you put a junior series and a professional series, that's it. It's the end of the story. But it's okay. That's why maybe brings all of us together of hey, this is our guy and he's going to represent all of us. And we want him to smoke everybody, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think that's going to be very tough. And that it's not that, oh yeah, he has 5 years of experience or whatever in IndyCar. He's going to smoke everybody, or he should. I don't think that's the case, but, I think he's going to do very well. He's going to win races. He's going to get the points, and he's going to go to F1.
Personally, I mean, wouldn't it be sweet though if he did smoke everyone? Like, it'd be cool.
It'd be pretty cool.
It'd be like sweet. Now again,
100%.
We respect and we know how it goes, and motor racing is hard, and there are so many good drivers out there.
We respect 100%. Yeah, but
Yes.
it's our boy. It's our brother.
Yeah, it's our boy. Yeah.
It's our boy. So we want our boy to go there to Europe and smoke everybody. But that doesn't mean we don't respect the series. I
Exactly.
fully respect F2. It's so tough.
Yes.
I've been part of it, and I got
too.
smoked. It's not that I'm saying, oh, it's a shitty series. No, it's a tough series.
Yeah.
But our boy needs to do very well, and we're going to be cheering for him.
I agree.
Do we know which
All right, Jake.
team is he racing for?
No, I don't think that's been announced
It
yet.
hasn't came out. We just know
Okay.
he's a test driver for Cadillac. That's all we have
test
right
driver for and he's going to Formula 2. He's
Right.
going to race in Formula 2. So yeah, it's that's going to be cool to see.
It's going to be cool
I
to
agree.
see.
Trace, I'm going to get you one more with Alex here before we let him go, because he's got all things. He's got a ton of things today.
Alex, there was a post put up on X recently by your organization that shared a very interesting fact about you that I did not know, and that was that you are a fan of the hit television show Ancient Aliens. And I would like to know, Alex, if how long you've been a fan of Ancient Aliens, and do you think that there was once an ancient civilization that walked amongst us?
I love to learn about these crazy stories about ancient aliens, ancient Egypt. I love everything about the pyramids and all the stories and how crazy it is, of how long ago it was. So yeah, that is true. That's a true fact. It's not fake news or anything. But yeah, I just love to hear everything about it and to go in my mind and be like, oh, is that true? Is that not true? Like, I'm not like believing on this crazy stuff, but I'm like, well, I'm not part of it, but I'm like interested. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
I want to know
I'm
more
the
about
same
it.
way.
Okay.
I'm interested as well. I'm a big fan of Egypt.
Yes.
The Egyptian Book of the Dead. I've studied it.
Oh.
I've looked into it.
Oh.
So I'm just saying that, like, Egypt is one of those places that I want to go to. They're finding all this new stuff with the LiDAR over there under the pyramids.
It's crazy.
So I just want to know, like, it sounded like if you like Ancient Aliens, you're probably interested in that stuff. So it's like
100%.
anytime we can learn about stuff that we weren't here for, I'm all about it. I need to know.
Me too. And
I love
especially
that.
crazy stuff. When it's crazy stuff and it's like, how did they build that in like however million years ago? Like it's just crazy. And I cannot even build something with paper nowadays because I have no idea.
Yeah.
So
it's like, what is origami?
You got to build a lot.
anymore?
You got a kid right now. You got to build a lot in the house.
I got to build a lot. I need to help her. I need to I cannot even connect to this stream to do the podcast. It takes me always like 6 minutes to figure it out. So it's tough.
That dad vibe catching up with you. That's what's happening, dude. It hits me sometimes too.
It's catching.
Real
Love
quick,
it.
this episode we do our power rankings for IndyCar drivers, which I think is very entertaining. People love power rankings and like figuring out where everyone's at. One of the biggest surprises of the year, I believe, was your teammate Kiffin Simpson. You want to talk about? I think Kiff Dog did some stuff this year that I think a lot of people didn't expect. Can you before we let you go? I feel like we gotta get your thoughts on that.
So he was part of the team. He was a rookie last year, right? So he was a rookie last year. He was learning. He got a lot of pressure, which I think it's tough. Like it's tough to get into a team that is a winning team. You have Scott Dixon. You have myself. That we're like we already have that experience, and we're going and pushing so much. So he got a tough learning year. But I remember this year, very early on, like we went to Sebring, and I believe he was faster than me. And then we went to a test in May at the Indy road course, and he was super fast. Like you were at that test. You remember that test. And he ended up being like half a 10 faster than me or something like that after a full day. And I was like, man, what's going on? Kiffin, like what's going on? Maybe you just had a good day. That's it. But then like this year, he has been so strong, especially on road courses. And then what I was very impressed was, what was it? Nashville, the last race. Like he was fighting with Scott McLaughlin for the podium, like back and forth on the second lane,
I saw
on
it
the
all.
first lane.
I witnessed
like,
it all.
Like the fact that he was not just there and then suddenly you finished third, whatever, yeah, good job because the strategy or whatever. No, like he's been fighting a lot. I think Mid-Ohio as well. He qualified up front. He qualified third, I believe. And he was going to finish on the podium, but he just had a penalty on the pit stop, whatever. So he's been really strong this year. I think he's worked really hard. And it's great to see. It's great to see. Hopefully he doesn't go much faster because I can see everything and it's like keeping to slow down. This is good enough. But it's great. It's great to see. And it's great to see from the same engineering, room. Like he knows, that he has an opportunity to learn crazy with, Scott and then a little bit with me. But I think we all have a great team of like, we're sharing everything. We're trying to learn as much as possible, and he brings to the table. So it's great, and I cannot wait for next year.
Well, one thing that I think a lot of folks don't often realize is that when the best teams have all the best drivers that they can have, and you have all of the data points from drivers that are very fast, that helps even drivers like yourself. When you see some of this, the smaller teams down below, and there's maybe one driver who doesn't have Alex Palou data with him, maybe that's harder to learn from. When you have all the best data points at the best teams, that makes everyone better overall. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Like you want to have fast teammates. Like maybe.
Oh, yes, 100%.
Like that. That's super important.
I wouldn't be here today like without Scott Dixon. Like you put me in CGR with no Scott Dixon in the team as a teammate, and you put, I don't know, whatever, I don't care. I would probably not be a champion. Like, honestly, like you learn so much from just seeing the data, just seeing how he speaks, like seeing how he thinks, how he manages the team, like how he thinks about the strategy. And then you don't learn from one day to another, but you start picking up on stuff and you figured out your own way. But it's an opportunity that honestly, I think I've been very lucky, and everybody that has that ability or that opportunity to be in a great team like that, or like just to look at data from Power, for example, I would love to see that. I would love it. And I'm so excited that he's a Honda driver now. So hopefully,
there you go.
I can get a little bit more.
Now we're in trouble. Yeah.
Yes. I already
Will's
started texting him
that with his life.
I started texting him like, hey, Will, like, you need to help us. We need to do this. We need to speak to Honda. And I was like, okay, I know we're not teammates, like really
but you're
teammates.
in the same camp. There's a lot of...
Yes.
That's going to be wild. Now I'm terrified because obviously, we know that there are some things that there are differences between the Honda and Chevy engine packages. And I'm a Team Chevy guy right now. And it's going to be interesting to see how Will Power adjusts to that. So, oh dear.
It'll be great. It'll be great.
It'll be interesting. Alex, we appreciate you. I think we probably got to let you go. We've taken up too much of your time already. But thanks for being here, and thanks for being on the show whenever I ask you. Honestly, I do appreciate that.
See the man.
You've been a great dude.
I was sad because
it's been fun to race against you too.
I've been winning, and I knew that the winner would come to the show. You called me once, then you called me, it was second time, and then you said, okay, Alex, I need to get some other people. I'm like, okay, all right, Connor.
I thought you were going to be our third host of the show this season. I really did. Like I
would
was
have
ready
been.
for
That's
you
what
to
I
just
wanted to
camp,
be part of. I wanted to be part of the team and never got invited. This is hard.
Yeah.
Well,
we're going to have to fix that moving forward.
All right.
You know what?
Just do what you did again this year, next year.
No,
and then
don't do that.
Yes.
No, don't do that. No. That cannot happen again. We don't want to see 8. Just kidding. I'm sure you want to see 8, maybe 9 Alex Palou wins, whatever it is.
He's going for 10, dude.
But who knows? Guess what? We're back down to 0 now.
Yes.
2026 is already here, essentially, and we're all at 0 wins. So
Yes.
hopefully I will have a chance to take some of those away from you again. Who knows? I didn't do that this year, but we'll see.
We will be pushing for that as well.
Fingers crossed. All right, Alex Palou, thank you.
Thank you, guys. See ya.
We appreciate Alex Palou for once again joining us, a very deserving champion. Really enjoyed hearing his thoughts on so much stuff this year. All right, we're going to wrap up the show with our favorite segment, our only segment, the Ricky Treadway Random Indy 500 Driver of the Week.
The greatest event of its kind that's ever been run on.
Let's meet the drivers. Who will make up the field?
This week we are going to 1962, not quite as old as we've gone in the last couple. 1962 was, of course, won by Roger Ward. We all know that, and if you didn't, you now know. But our Ricky Treadway Random Indy 500 Driver of the Week is the P30 finisher, Bob Christie. So Bob Christie finished P30. Bob was an American race car driver. Christie raced in the USAC Championship Car Series from 1956 to 1963, including every Indianapolis 500 race in that span. He finished in the top 10 5 times. Solid. Best finish, third position, 1959 at Daytona. He died in Grants Pass, Oregon, aged 85. So, yeah, he had a lot of Indy 500s to his name. 1956, 7, 8, 9, 60, 61, 62, 63, as we mentioned. But we chose, of course, 1962. Looks like his best finish at the Indy 500. We obviously mentioned a lot of top 10s in USAC, but his best finish at the Indy 500 was indeed 10th. He had one top 10 at the Indy 500, and that was in 1960. What do you think about Bob Christie, Chase?
There's not much I can find on Bob online, so I went off the Wikipedia trail. I went to the Google Images trail. I think I found one photo of him with kind of looks like the hat that the safari hunter from Jumanji wore.
Oh, okay.
So that was kind of like a helmet that he had there. His mechanic was Gio Salin, I believe.
Okay.
Maybe I'm not saying that correctly. There's only one photo I could find of him, though. So not a lot on old Bob.
Yeah, there you go. Bob Christie. Ricky Treadway, Random Indy 500 Driver of the Week. We learn something new every week. We appreciate you folks. Subscribe and all the things. Leave us a like, leave us a comment, whatever you want to do to chat about IndyCar racing. We're trying to take it to the moon. We're in the off-season now, which is a tough time of year. But we are filled with IndyCar excitement to talk about. Hopefully there will be more next week. And thank you once again for listening. Hey everyone, Connor Daly here. Please leave a like on this video if you did enjoy it, and also subscribe to the channel as well. That would be very helpful. Be a friend, tell a friend. Thank you so much for the support, and we'll see you on the next episode of Speed Street.